Hi there. Thank you for joining me. I want to wish all of my friends and family around the world a very happy Preparation Day today and a very happy Sabbath tomorrow. And again, the Sabbath is that weekly reminder that we are not just randomly here wandering some random planet. We were created by a loving creator with a hope and a purpose. We're not just here randomly in a chaotic world. Again, we have a loving creator who has placed us here. In Jeremiah chapter 20, verse 14, Jeremiah is having a really bad day. And it's such a bad day that he says here in verse 14 of Jeremiah 20, "Cursed be the day in which I was born. Let the day not be blessed in which my mother bore me." Have you ever felt that way? I think we all have at one time or another. The problem is, Jeremiah, while he was having that very stressful, terrible day, like we have all had, Jeremiah forgot something very important when he said, "Curse the day I was born. Let it not be a blessed day when my mother bore me." He was forgetting that in the beginning of Jeremiah, when God first approached him with the spirit of prophecy to give a message to his people, in verse 5 of Jeremiah chapter 1, it reads, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctified you. I ordained you a prophet to the nations." Jeremiah wasn't just some random person having a randomly bad day. He had a purpose. He had a creator who lovingly formed him, who not only saw his birth before it happened, but had sanctified him and given him a very special, sacred purpose. No wonder why Satan wanted to give him such a bad day, to make him forget that he is not just here randomly. He had a purpose. He had a loving creator who formed him and made him and sanctified him with a purpose. And friends, God has given each one of us a purpose. Each one of us has a sacred calling. We're not just here randomly. We have a creator who lovingly created us. As a matter of fact, in Revelation chapter 4, verse 11, it says, "You are worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power, for you created all things, and by your will they exist and were created." So again, this is this reminder that the Sabbath reminds us of every week, that we aren't just here randomly. We have a creator. And it's by his will that we're created. And it's by his will that we exist. Each and every day is a day that is a gift from God, that God has blessed us with. And it may not be a great day, but it can be a day filled with purpose and a day filled with hope. Before we get upset, like Jeremiah saying, "Curse the day I was born," we have to remember that, we have to remember that each and every day is a gift from God. It's a gift from the cross. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 17, God said that if Adam and Eve ate from the forbidden tree, that they would die that day. Now, we know they ate from the tree, but they didn't die that day. And we've been trying to explain why they didn't die that day, because Genesis 2:17 clearly says you'll die that day. And I've heard people say, well, they'll begin to die. When they began to die. Well, again, that's not what that verse read. I've heard people say, well, they died spiritually. I don't even know what that means. It sounds profound, but what does it mean? I've heard people say, well, a day is like 1,000 years, and they died within 1,000 years, so they died within a day. Well, we need to be really careful with that one, because when Peter mentions that a day is like 1,000 years, he wasn't appointing that as a prophetic term like in Ezekiel 4:6, we have a day for a year. It was just an expression as far as God measuring time. A day passes, 1,000 years pass like a day to God. That's all it means. And if we want to assign a day for 1,000 years, we're going to have a problem, because then these theories of evolution start coming in. That maybe each day of creation was 1,000 years, and it was over thousands of years that the earth evolved. So we need to be really careful that we don't apply that passage that Peter did not mean as a prophetic term, just a matter of fact, a figure of speech, that a day is like 1,000 years, or 1,000 years are like a day to God. That's all Peter was saying. So again, it says in Genesis 2:17, Adam and Eve would drop dead the day they ate of the forbidden fruit. We don't have to come up with our own theories. The Bible answers the question, why didn't Adam and Eve drop dead that very day? The reason why? Revelation 13 verse 8 tells us Jesus is the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. When Adam and Eve sinned and ate that fruit, the reason they didn't drop dead that day was because Jesus' death had already taken effect, the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world, and that day his death stood in the place of their death, and even the probationary time they're given, even the probationary time we're given on this earth, is a gift from the cross. Friends, each and every day, that terrible rotten day that Jeremiah was having when he said, "Curse the day I was born," was a gift from the cross. Jesus had to die on the cross, not only for him to live in eternity, Jesus had to die on the cross for Jeremiah to live on that dirty, rotten day. Now, if every single day is a gift from the cross, then there must be some purpose in even our worst days. And even the psalmist reminds us in Psalm 23:6, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life." I want to share a very encouraging passage here in the book Desire of Ages. It's on page 660 in the chapter In Remembrance of Me. And again, referencing the fact that even our probationary time here on earth is a gift from the cross. Ellen White writes here on page 660, Desire of Ages, "To the death of Christ we owe even this earthly life." So again, that's confirmation of what we saw there in Revelation 13:8. That the reason we don't drop dead the day we sin, the same reason Adam and Eve didn't drop dead the day they sinned, is because we owe even this life to the cross. Even our probationary time is a gift from the cross. Again, I continue reading. "To the death of Christ we owe even this earthly life. The bread we eat is the purchase of his broken body. The water we drink is bought by his spilled blood. Never one saint or sinner eats this daily food, but he is nourished by the body and the blood of Christ. The cross of Calvary is stamped on every loaf. It is reflected in every water spring. All this Christ has taught in appointing the emblems of his great sacrifice when we celebrate communion and the Lord's Supper." But here we just have reminders again that I want to share with you, that even on your worst day, remember, even your worst day is a gift from the cross. And if Jesus thought you living this day was worth dying for, then there must be a purpose for this day. And of course, there is a purpose for your entire life. Again, the Sabbath is that weekly reminder we're not here randomly. We have a loving Creator who lovingly created us with a purpose. And no, we don't curse the day we were born. It was a gift from the cross. God's goodness and mercy are with us all the days of our life. That includes today. Have a wonderful Sabbath. God bless you.